Today's video, we're gonna be covering a hot topic, and that is weight fluctuations and why the scales go up and down so much when you're in a fat loss journey. Let's jump into it. All right, so weight fluctuations. As you can see here, guys, I've put a graph together for you, okay? 4 kilos lost in 3 weeks. I've broken it down. There's your weight there, there's your days there. Week 1, week 2, week 3, Monday through to Sunday, okay? As you can see, weight loss is not a linear process. We don't just step down every single day until we reach our goal. I went from 89.1 to 85 kgs in those 3 weeks, but this is what the weight loss journey looked like. Peaks and troughs, so ups and downs, highs and lows. And once you get your head around understanding the reasons why we get these highs and lows, it'll start to make more sense for you. And if you're not weighing yourself in daily, as you can see here, bit of motivation, but then we've gone back up. Bit of motivation, then we've gone back up. Bit of motivation, then we've jumped back up again. So there's a few reasons why this happens. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. Number 1 is water intake. As you guys are probably aware by now, majority of the fluid running through your body is made up of water. Now, if you're not consistently tracking your water intake each and every day, then the scales are gonna fluctuate. They're gonna drastically fluctuate due to the amount of water you are consuming. So just remember, be consistent with your water. Get a bottle that can track how much water you drink per day, and that'll keep the scales slightly more consistent, but it's never gonna make them perfectly accurate. Number 2 is sleep. Now, when it comes to sleep, I found a massive difference between my PM and AM weight fluctuations. If I'd have a decent sleep, I would lose up to 1.5 kilos. And if I'd have an average sleep, I would lose only half a kilo. Now, just gotta keep in mind, you've got cortisol, which is a stress hormone. You wanna make sure you've got cortisol in your body, but not too much of it. Digestion. So with your digestion, your body is obviously digesting food as you sleep. The more time you give it to digest it in between meals, the better off you're gonna be. And then also recovery. With your recovery, and that comes back to cortisol, if your stress levels are low, your inflammation is low, you're gonna be holding less water. So it's important to make sure you're getting that 7 to 8 hours sleep. Number 3 is sodium. Now, sodium is a very important electrolyte that is found inside the body. And the more sodium we have, the more water we will hold. So if we're not tracking our sodium consistently, which I know a lot of you aren't, but I did the test case for you guys just so I could prove to you, and some days I would double my sodium intake and it would affect the scales drastically. If your sodium intake isn't consistent, then the scales just aren't gonna be consistent either. Number 4 is alcohol. So just keep in mind, with your alcohol, you may see a positive effect on the scales the following day. So if you hit the piss on Friday night, Saturday morning, you might wake up actually lighter and leaner looking than what you did on the Friday. Now, this is not a hack to getting lean. This is your body overcompensating, trying to get rid of all of the alcohol out of the body because it's toxic. It's trying to drain every little bit of fluid out of your body. So therefore, it will overcompensate the next day or 2 after by reloading the body full of water. So yes, on the Friday, you hit the piss. Saturday, you might be leaner, you might be lighter, but then bring on Sunday and Monday, and I guarantee you guys will be stacking on water weight because your body has drained all that fluid out of it to dehydrate itself and get rid of the toxins. And now it's gonna overcompensate and reload and hydrate as much as it can because it's in such a drought. So therefore, a few days after, you're gonna notice the scales bounce back up to the top. Number 5 is volume of foods. Now, just because we're eating the same amount of calories every day doesn't mean the foods are all gonna weigh the same each and every day. So just keep in mind, if you're having low calorie, high volume foods, you're gonna be taking in a lot more fiber and a lot more things that are gonna add to the weight gain. And also just holding onto that food in your intestines and in your tummy, that is gonna make the scales fluctuate as well. But it doesn't mean you've gained fat. It just means you're holding onto a lot more volume of food. So it doesn't mean you're getting fatter. All right, number 6 is DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness. Now with DOMS, just remember, water retention and inflammation, they are linked together. So if you've had a really fucking tough workout and you're really sore the next day, your body is probably inflamed due to the stress and tension you've put onto the muscles, and it's gonna hold water in that area or on your body to help itself recover through that inflammation process. Because inflammation is part of the healing process, so we need it to make sure we do recover. So that is gonna affect your scales also and give you some fluctuations as well. I found on the days I did really hard workouts, the following day, the scales would spike again. Number 7 is hormones/period. So hormones for the females, obviously when you're going through your cycle, yes, you are gonna hold more water. That is pretty common. I've never had this experience myself, but through all of my clients, I've lived through them. And I know that when it comes that time of the month, they do seem to hold more water, they feel a little bit more bloated, and they're definitely seeing a spike on the scale. And number 8 will be time of day you are weighing in, whether it's AM or PM. I highly recommend weighing in the AM. Every single reference point here is in the AM. I also did the PM weights as well. And like I told you guys before, between the AM and the PM weights, there was up to 1.5 kilos of difference in between the AM and PM. So don't be weighing in the AM here and then in the next day weighing in the PM or vice versa, because it's gonna give you an altered reading. Because remember, you've got the water, you've got the food, you've got the stress. All of those things are gonna affect the scales at the end of the day. So for me personally, say if I wake up at 85 kilos, I'm probably going to bed at around 86, sometimes even more than what I weighed in the morning. So just keep in mind, keep them consistent. If you're weighing in the AMs and you start in the AMs, do it in the AMs. And I highly recommend that because you're a little bit lighter in the stomach. If whether you've been to the toilet, we've just had time to rest and recover, it's going to give you a more accurate reading over that time. So AM is the best time to weigh in after you've been to the toilet. Keep it consistent, and then these readings will be more consistent throughout. All right, guys, that's my video on weight fluctuation. So don't get disheartened if you see a drop and then a spike in your weight. Just remember, there's no way I've lost over 3 kilos of body fat between day 1 and day 4. It's just not possible, right? Unless I'm in a crazy low deficit, I'm chopping into muscle as well, and that's not the way fat loss is done. So I hope this video helps you guys out there. Weight fluctuations are normal. If you can't get your head around the scales, then just don't use them. Use them once a month if you have to, and then you'll get a more accurate reading over time. But for me personally, I love weighing in every single day and just learning about my body. That's it from me, guys. I'm out.